Hey, what's up guys? So now that we've covered how to shoot and how to edit a wedding ceremony, what about the reception? So like I've said throughout this entire series, every wedding is going to be different. Every reception room is going to be different, but there should be a couple key characteristics that remain the same. The first is there's going to be a dance floor. There's also going to be a section where there's going to be tables for everyone to sit and to eat. There's going to be a DJ, and then typically there's going to be a table for the new couple, usually in close proximity to the dance floor. There's also going to be a door where everyone enters from, and you're going to want to pay attention to that. So typically when a wedding reception starts, all the guests are already in the reception room. It's probably cocktail hour. They might have a bar set up for drinks, food, whatever. But everyone's going to sit down, and then the DJ is going to announce everyone coming in. And by everyone, I mean the bridal party. And eventually it's going to get to the couple. The couple are going to come in and they're going to have their first dance. During the entrances and during the first dance, it is ideal to have probably two cameras set up. So the first one is probably going to be just a wide shot camera. Pick where you're going to want to put the camera. Hopefully it's out of the way. But the goal with this wide shot camera is to capture everyone coming in as well as capturing the dance floor. You're also going to want to have a camera with you that you're going to be moving around. Again, my style is I'm going to be shooting on some sort of glide cam stabilizer, so I'm going to be following the action. As people enter the reception room, I'm going to be following them and then resetting myself for the next group of people to come in. However, when we get to the couple's going to walk in and I'm going to be continuously following them until they start their first dance while I continue to capture them. So it's important to mention during the first dance, or really any of these intimate dances, you're gonna wanna already have your camera set up on them, a nice wide shot, but then also have a camera with you and circle them around so you can capture them as they are dancing. If you have a third camera or another shooter, it would be fantastic for you to also get some close-up shots of them while they're enjoying their first dance. There's a lot of candid moments, smiles, laughing that could happen during the first dance, and you're gonna wanna capture that. So a quick recap. For the first dance and the entrances of a reception, it's ideal to have 2 to 3 cameras. 3 being more ideal than 2. Moving on though, once the first dance is complete, yeah, sure, people might be dancing around, and feel free to capture that. Just try not to get in anyone's way. You don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. Also, keep in mind, everyone's dancing, having a great time. They're probably not paying attention to you, so if you do get too close, you might get your camera hit, and you don't want that on the ground and broken. Regardless, following all the dancing is going to be when everyone sits down for dinner, and this is a time when speeches/toasts are going to be given. This is typically going to happen right where the bride and the groom are situated, and a 3-camera shoot right this second is not really necessary. I typically go with 2 cameras at this point. It's really not necessary for you to be on a crane, stabilizer, whatever, because when the speeches are given, typically people are standing in relatively the same spot. So feel free to kind of back up, put your camera on a tripod, and get some nice close-up shots with a zoom lens of whoever is giving these speeches. With that said though, if you do have a close-up camera on whoever is giving a speech or a toast, then it's nice to have a slightly wider camera so you can also capture the bride and the groom's reaction to what is being said. A lot of these speeches are going to be very lovey-dovey and emotional, and if you can capture them crying, bawling their eyes out because they're just overjoyed about the situation, that could be a fantastic moment to add to your final product. Moving along though, after the toasts, everyone's going to sit down and eat, and you should definitely do the same. Just always have your camera ready in case something's going to spontaneously happen. Though after dinner, people are usually just going to go back onto the dance floor, start partying, having fun, and these are the kind of events that you don't need to film the entire 3-4 hours of dancing. Just get some mixture shots, some wide, some close-up shots. If there are any important dances or any important members of the family, dancing, then you might want to be capturing that. You know, it really comes down to what you plan to deliver to your client. Of course, as the reception progresses, there could be games played, the shoe game, there could be throwing the bouquet, whatever. Really, throughout all of these main events, I always want to get at least 2 cameras rolling at one time. I always want a wide camera and then a camera being close up. And you know, if I'm the only shooter, the wide camera obviously is going to be on some sort of tripod that's as high as it can go, and I'll typically be on some sort of stabilizer glide cam so I can easily move around and get whatever shots I need. But if you have a second shooter with you, so you have your wide shot camera that's stationary somewhere, you have your camera that's roaming around, you can have your second shooter always with a zoom lens that can always zoom into these candid moments, these events, for detailed shots. And of course, the same thing goes when the cake cutting comes around. Try to have 2 cameras going, but in the event that you can't have 2 cameras going, it might be good to have a zoom lens so you can easily get a wide shot, zoom in for a detailed shot, so on and so forth. But really, that's the basics of a reception. Keep in mind that the event is really not organized. You know, people are dancing, having fun. You know, people can be this, there, and everywhere. And you're gonna wanna be as mobile as possible. Even if you have a camera on a tripod, always be ready to have to move that tripod somewhere else. Always be prepared for someone to start talking or dancing in a place that you were not prepared to be at, and just get over there as fast as you can to capture all of these important moments. Being mobile is definitely a necessity during a reception. However, one thing we did not talk about at all is audio. So audio is an interesting thing. Obviously, I try to have, you know, shotgun microphones on all my cameras in case I want to use them, but that's definitely not always the greatest audio during a reception. So you're gonna want to probably do one, if not 2 things. So what I always do is I end up talking with the DJ and I see, is there a way to get audio out from his or her mixing board? If there is, typically it's an XLR output, so I can use something like a Zoom H4n Pro and get a direct feed into their audio board and get all this clean audio. Unfortunately, there are times that the DJ doesn't have an output for you, or maybe the output just isn't always reliable. You know, you don't know if the levels are always going to be right. You know, you might set the levels perfectly fine at the beginning of the reception, but all of a sudden, you know, they raise the audio levels and your audio is ruined. It's way too loud coming into your recorder. What is your backup plan besides the shotgun microphones on your camera? Well, a backup could be actually another audio recorder, something like a Zoom H1 or H1n, whatever, and you could have that recorder on a tripod, a light stand, something like that, and have it pretty much relatively right in front of one of the speakers that the DJ is broadcasting music and their microphone from. I'll typically have the Zoom H1 on an auto gain, so it will just adjust the audio levels when it needs to. And I don't like auto settings, but it actually usually works out pretty well. And I find that I actually use the audio more on the Zoom H1 right in front of a speaker than the audio from the DJ board, just because it tends to be a bit more reliable. Now, in the event that you don't want to, or you can't have a audio recorder on a light stand in front of a speaker, another option is having your audio recorder like the Zoom H1 with a lavalier microphone. You know, you have the excess cable just wrapped around it, but have the lav mic hanging over the speaker in front of the drivers of the speaker. I actually find that that works out a lot of the times too. Just be careful that once the speaker level gets high up there, your recorder doesn't vibrate off and come smashing to the floor. Because don't worry, that's happened before. Take a look at this recorder right now. I got no battery plate. The capsules on this mic are actually half broken, only one channel works. Not good, gotta be careful. Bringing tape might be a good solution for you. But guys, that is the basics of recording a reception. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave that in the comment section below, and stay tuned when we show you how to edit a reception. Anyway guys, I'll catch you in the next one.